Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. Rudy put out a video a day or two ago talking about reserve lists and old Magic and how it really hasn't budged it in price much in quite a while, and that he thinks we may be looking at a, 2, 6, 10 year bear market on the kind of products. And he was kind of wondering why that might be. And I want to present potentially a theory here. And something I talk about a lot is how we have this magic ecosystem, or sometimes I call it a network. And remember, the difference between an ecosystem and a community is in a community, everybody likes each other. In an ecosystem, some people eat each other. So we have an ecosystem where you have WotC, you have distributors, you have stores, you have players, collectors, investors, all of these entities who are doing their thing, buying and selling and making money and playing with cards and trading and collecting and all of these other things. And if we imagine back, say, pre 2019, you pretty much had this. You had this kind of situation where, let's say, you were a modern player, a vintage or a legacy player. WotC wasn't really selling you too much directly. They didn't have a lot of products directly marketed towards you. And it wasn't really until Modern Horizons 1 in, was that 2019 or early 2020? I think it was 2019, that we started to get a lot of straight to modern products. Of course, a lot of the Universes Beyond products are straight to modern, if not all of them. And so now, when some of those players who like those older formats are looking at what to do with their money, instead of spending it on maybe another deck, which would be made out of old Magic cards, they're going to spend some of that money on direct to modern products. And you can always think of everybody who participates in the Magic ecosystem has a certain amount of money that they either add into the ecosystem or subtract out of the ecosystem every, say, week, since most humans get paid every week. And so they're going to put money in. WotC will extract money. Distributors and card stores will extract money. And occasionally collectors and investors will extract money from the ecosystem. But for the most part, it's players, collectors, and investors putting money in regularly. And there's only so much of that money. So the net flow of money at any point in time is only so high. Now, if you've looked at actual cost of living increases, the total, not annualized, but the total inflation over the last 4 years has been somewhere around 22 to 25% in the US. And so, unless you've been getting some hella good pay increases over that time, you've lost ground on what you can purchase with the money that you have. Now, obviously, Magic is a discretionary thing that you would spend on. And so odds are you're spending less money on Magic today than you are on other things. So we've seen this combination happen in this period of time where the people buying Magic have less money to spend on it, and they have more options. And to get further into that idea of more options, WotC's pushed into this one major release per month kind of schedule over the last couple of years, say 2 years now. So between standard and a master set every summer and a remastered set every January, maybe a jumpstart set every other year, Universes Beyond all over the place, they want major release every month. Well, those major releases aren't actually geared towards every player. And here's where I'll say that, when that Wizards of the Coast employee, a year, 18 months ago maybe, he said something like, you need to just interact with the products you're interested in. He was exactly correct. Because not all of those products are made for every Magic player. If you mostly play Commander with your friends, you should probably just be buying a couple of singles once in a while. If you like Modern or Legacy, you should buy a few singles from that. It's hard to imagine you should buy a bunch of Modern Horizons booster boxes, but maybe you're interested in that. If you like the limited environments of every standard expansion, then buy a play booster box of that. But all of it's gotten more expensive, and there's more of it. And so you have this compressed kind of consumer on one side who has less money over the last several years to spend. And then you have WotC saying, we are going to gear products towards every type of player under the Magic umbrella, even players that previously they could not monetize, like legacy players. And so you've had these things happen at the same time, where now a lot of that money that comes newly into the ecosystem every week is going to more and more exit the ecosystem through WotC's pockets. And I think that is one of, if not the best explanation, or at least a partial explanation, of why these old Magic cards are seeing fewer market movements over the last couple of years. There's just less interest in them. And so, you know, if you're new to Magic today, you're probably going to start out by playing Commander, maybe booster drafts, things like that, things that kind of get your feet wet for a cheap price. You're not going to immediately start by playing Modern or Legacy, which would require you to buy a whole bunch of old cards, including probably at least some reserve list cards. So I think this is kind of natural from what WotC has been trying to do as a business. They're trying to capture more and more of that secondary market income and the secondary market churn of capital and purchases and sales. They're trying to pull all of that to them, which they should. They should attempt to do it, and you should try to find innovative ways to get around it or to otherwise profit from it. In the long term, I don't think this means the end of reserve list. I don't think it means the end of vintage Magic. It means that, like Rudy said, it's probably going to take a long break from any type of macro market upwards trends. I think that's reasonable. And I think what you should be doing is, if there are any particular reserve list cards that you need to complete a set or complete a deck, or that you just really love, start buying a copy once a month or something like that. Prices might fall, prices might go up. You're never going to know beforehand where the bottom was, so you just kind of peck around it, and that's the best way to average your price somewhere close to the bottom. And if you think that reserve lists in the long term will probably always be a winner, like I do, then just buy a little bit every month. Buy a few cards, one or two here or there, or allocate a certain amount of money every month. And then on the day of the month you want to go buy the cards, go look at what's out there, find something that you also enjoy, and buy it, throw it in a binder, throw it in a box, whatever, and sit on it. I think there's a decent chance that on the years-long timeline, like 3, 5, 7-year-long timeline, you're going to see some kind of snap where suddenly the market realizes that reserve list and vintage Magic was unloved for too long in the wake of WotC doing this one major release per month schedule, that too much money went into new Magic, because new Magic is pretty good right now. People do like it, and people are basically finding the thing they want to interact with, and they're buying that. And so the money is not going into old Magic, but eventually that rubber band will get pulled too taut and it'll snap, and those prices will suddenly rise. Now, suddenly and rise are both pretty squishy words. Suddenly could mean over the course of a year, it could mean over the course of 3 months, and rise could mean 50% or it could mean 400%. Who knows? But I think that's a satisfying theory on what's happening here. WotC has vastly increased the number and quality of products and the market to which it can sell them to, at the same time that the consumers have less money to be spending on them. And that's why these old Magic cards just aren't seeing a lot of love right now, but in the long run, it'll come back. Let me know what you think, guys. I'd be interested to hear. Thanks to everyone who makes this content possible, especially my very generous supporters on Patreon. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade.